Have you ever wondered what it might be like to go back in time to a swing-era big band dance? Well, today we're going back to the 1940s, dollface, when big bands, victory rolls, and shoulder pads were all the rage. I was invited to co-host the 1940s ball in Boulder, Colorado earlier this summer, and I am back to spill the intel with you, sugar. But first, a note on today's vintage lip look. I'm wearing two shades by Revlon that were originally released in the 1950s but are still made today. Cherries in the Snow and Certainly Red. I've linked both of them below if you are interested in getting the look. Now back to our journey in time. Let me set the scene for you. You walk into the historic Boulder Municipal Airport. Everyone is dressed to the nines in 1940s attire. A live jazz singer croons sultry tunes as you make your way in. Don't forget a map, that's important. You see a few celebrity reenactors. Carmen Miranda,
Rita Hayworth,
Betty Grable. Suddenly you're in a World War II base camp filled with historical vehicles and Agent Carter. Then Bob Hope hops on the stage to crack a few jokes and introduce the Andrews Sisters, who perform their top tunes like Boogie Woogie Bugle Boy.
And now the company jumps when he plays reveille.
Then the World War II aircraft fly overhead. And as the sun begins to set on those Colorado mountains, the world-famous Glenn Miller Orchestra takes the stage, and the dance floor fills with folks ready to swing well into the night. I hope that paints a good picture for you. Now, I want to give you some tips that I think will be helpful for you if you're a first-timer and planning on attending the 1940s ball next summer or going to the 1940s ball this winter. The winter ball has more of a holiday theme to it appropriately, but I still think that you'll find these tips useful. I'll also give you some ideas for what to wear if you're planning an outfit and share some highlights from my trip. Tip number 1. I suggest getting there as early as possible. The lines for things like drinks can get long, and for the photo ops, especially the photo ops with the planes. So try to get there as early as possible so you can get those photo ops and enjoy the rest of the night. Also, if you have a VIP ticket, there's a VIP grounds tour with Agent Peggy Carter, and that starts earlier in the night, closer to entry time. So again, try to get there as early as possible so you can get as much out of the experience as possible. Which brings me to tip number 2. Make a plan. Look on the website ahead of time and look at the schedule of entertainment. Look at the event map ahead of time. There will be maps there for you, but it is just so helpful to see the whole layout. And then you can make at least a loose plan of what you want to see and do, because there is so much to do. There are live bands and performers on multiple stages throughout the event. There are educational panels. There are live radio shows and dancing lessons.
You could also go to Rick's Cafe from Casablanca and take photos with the movie sets and props and all these classic cars. And this was where the dance lesson was, and more entertainment through the night.
One thing that I didn't do that I wish I had was the crafting area, where you could sit and relax and be covered by a tent and out of the sun for a couple minutes, and you could make a 1940s wartime felt corsage or a brooch. They had photos of women wearing them in the 40s and instructions and just all the crafts, and you could sit there and get crafty and make your own little wearable keepsake. I think that's such a fun souvenir. So if you are a crafty person, make sure that you make some time to do that. Something else that I thought was so cute, and I believe was a new addition this year, was the Sweethearts board at the entrance of the ball. This was a big heart-shaped board where you could put up a picture of your parents or grandparents or friends or somebody that you knew who met during the 1940s, maybe even at a ball like that one, and were sweethearts. So I thought that was so cute. Now, if you're somebody who just likes to wing it, you do you, honey. But I do recommend for most people to have a little idea of what you want to do before you get there. Tip number 3, don't forget about sun protection. Most of the event is in the open air, and it is gorgeous. You have a beautiful view of the mountains in the distance, especially when the sun is setting. It's magical, really. But that means that the sun is very hot and very bright. So I would suggest wearing or bringing a hat, even a parasol. I saw some people carrying those, and a fan, and slather on that SPF. Getting a little toasty in here. Tip number 4, bring a little spending money, because there is a vintage market and there were so many cute things for sale.
There was also this beauty station where you could have your hair done in a vintage style, and there were these fabulous hair flowers for sale.
I am actually feeling non-buyer's remorse over not getting this cute little black cord bag that was under $20. What's wrong with me? It should be here with me now, but it's not. You know, I'm trying to be better about not purchasing as much, but it makes me sad that I don't have that bag. I actually did get something though. Here it is. I fell in love with this. This is from 1949. It is called Calling All Girls. tops with teens. So this is a teenage magazine, but I love the vintage swimwear on the cover. I want this swimsuit. But I haven't looked at it yet. I'm so excited to look through it. Now let's talk about what to wear. If you are going to the 1940s ball, you may be wondering, what is the vibe? A lot of people were dressed in true, authentic vintage clothing. Other people were wearing reproduction clothing, so that's clothing made by modern brands but made to look vintage. Or since it is summer, you could go with a tropical vibe and do like a dress in a tropical print, add some hair flowers to your hair. That's the route that I went with. I was wearing a Vivian of Holloway sarong dress and a matching bolero. Sometimes when I'm going to events and I know I'm going to be dancing a lot or moving a lot, you know, I'm running up and down the stage. I don't know, there's just a lot going on. I don't want to risk maybe ruining some of my delicate true vintage pieces. So that's why I went with a modern reproduction dress, also because it was just gorgeous and fit the theme so perfectly. Some people collect historical uniforms, so that's definitely something that you'll see a lot there. One thing that I will say, I guess this would be tip number 5, which would be to wear comfortable shoes. You might be walking back and forth across the field to see different performers or events that you want to participate in, and I really can't recommend wearing some sandals or other flat shoes enough. I did see quite a lot of women wearing high heels. I don't know how you did it, and I applaud you. You looked amazing. I couldn't do that. I would hate my shoes by the end of the night. So I wore some sandals by Remix Vintage, and they were very comfortable, and I was fine. So highly recommend you wear comfortable shoes. Now for some highlights from the night, things that I really enjoyed doing. I was very fortunate to be invited to attend the ball as a co-host and to co-host the Best Dress contest with Gabby of Gabby's Vintage, somebody whose content I really enjoy. She is such a sweet person, and I had a lot of fun co-hosting the Best Dress contest with her. We didn't choose who was in the contest, but we were on stage talking to the contestants, asking them about their outfits, what they were wearing.
Well, look at this snazzy suit. Come on up into the light.
And then we also led the voting, which was the audience applause that determined the winners. There were 2 different categories, 1940s fashion and then best military uniform.
It was obvious that a lot of time and thought went into putting these looks together, even down to the specific tie clips they chose, or having faux cigarettes as props, or explaining the historical significance of their uniforms. And it just made me really happy to see people expressing themselves through their outfits that way.
And the winners each got a sash, a crown, and a bag of prizes, including tickets to next year's ball. So if that sounds like something you want to do, put a really good vintage outfit together and you might be picked to be in the contest. Well, it got a little windy and some of the set pieces started swaying back and forth, and the Glenn Miller Orchestra, I think it was the Glenn Miller Orchestra, they had to skedaddle off the stage. But as far as I know, nobody got hurt. And that's the excitement of live events, you know, you never know. But the weather calmed down, and then Bob Hope hopped on the stage announcing the end of the war. We formed a giant conga line on the dance floor. It was the biggest conga line I've ever seen or participated in. And that was just so much fun. And then I hopped back on stage and introduced the Flatirons Jazz Orchestra.
This next group authentically recreates the swing era sounds of Duke Ellington, Benny Goodman, Glenn Miller, Ella Fitzgerald, Billie Holiday, and other jazz royalty from the 1920s through the 1950s. CBS Local calls them the best big band in Denver. Please put your hands together and give a very warm welcome to the Flatirons Jazz Orchestra!
By that point, the wind had pretty much ruined most of my hairdo, but it was fine. I was having a blast and I stopped caring about it at that point. I hope you enjoyed our trip back to the 1940s today. If you have any questions about the ball or what to wear, leave them in the comments below. I would love to chat with you and answer them. And if you are interested in seeing more journeys through time and hearing about my adventures, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Until next time, Dollface.